everybody, and welcome back to another episode here on Milwaukee Beer Review. As always, I'm Josh.
And I'm Ross.
And we are continuing our Brewing Projekt 7-year anniversary series with their stouts. Now again, similar to the barley wines, which we really enjoyed.
Oh yeah, very good.
These are 3 unique stouts that they put out, barrel-aged beers in these bottles that you're seeing here in front of you. You saw us pour these out. We have got some good beers here. You didn't, actually. You didn't see us do that. But they are here. You can see we poured them out. And we got 3 of them to try here. So we've got their base anniversary barrel-aged stout, which comes in at 13.7%. We have got a vanilla-infused version of that, which we are really excited about, coming in at 14.4. And then we have a French toast version of that same barrel-aged stout coming in at 13.5%. So,
Let's dive in.
Let's dive
Nothing more to
in.
be said.
So, first beer, they're barrel-aged stout for their 7-year anniversary. Let's get a little nose on it. It smells like a...
It smells like a really good barrel-aged stout. I mean,
It does.
Those really good bourbon characteristics. I mean, that's the star here. It's the bourbon. You get that like oakiness, you get the vanilla, you get that little bit of bitterness from the chocolate, and you get that little bit of char from the barrel.
Yeah, there's barrel and bourbon and chocolate fudge, a little bit of dark fruit, all of the traditional barrel-aged notes are here on the nose.
I'm not getting the dark fruit, but I'm getting everything else that you kind of said.
Vanilla. Vanilla is there for sure, too. Yeah.
I mean...
It smells like a pretty standard barrel-aged stout.
I'm excited about it, so...
Yes.
Cheers.
Cheers. Check it out. Interesting. Okay.
So, here's what you think. But like for me, like the front part of the palate's a little subdued, but then the back end of the palate, you really get the same characteristics you're getting on the nose. You get the barrel, you get the spirit, you get the bourbon, a nice kind of vanilla sweetness, a slight chocolate bitterness to it. But the front end's very kind of tame and mellow for me.
Well, I don't disagree that I think the heavy flavors aren't there on the front end. I think the front end hits pretty hard from like a viscosity perspective. Like it's thick, there's a bit of a syrupy component to the front end of it. Very chocolate, little vanilla heavy on the front end of this beer. The bourbon plays second fiddle, actually, I think, to the base malt of this beer. Still there, very prevalent. But that is actually a good sign for the rest of this series, in my opinion, because I do think that base beer is a shining star on the front of this. Mid-palate, I get a little bit more vanilla, a little bit of that dark fruit characteristic, but it finishes very chocolate, vanilla, like... not pastry stout level of viscosity, but it is a very solid barrel-aged stout out the back.
You bring up a really good point. The fact this is, in all theory, a base beer. We've done other series of beers in here, and sometimes like we have the base maybe takes on too much of the characteristics throughout the whole thing. This leaves a lot to be played around with, I guess. It's really good. It sets a really good foundation. It doesn't taste the same way, but it has the same kind of setup as, like, again, I said the last video, the third space deconstructed. The base on that one is very solid, very good, but it leaves a lot of, like, room to grow in it. I think this does a good job of that as well.
This is better than that base, though.
Really?
It is.
Okay.
It is. There's more viscosity, there's more happening here in this beer than there is on the base of what Third Space puts out. That's not a direct comparison, right?
No,
These are different beers.
Very different beers.
But there's more happening here.
Fair enough. So, I'm sticking with an Untappd. I'm torn. I think I'm going to go with... I'm going to go 4 1/4. I think it's really good. I was going to say somewhere between 4 and 4.25, but to your point, it offers enough to get me to that 4.25 standpoint.
This is a 4.25 beer. I'm right with you on that. I think this is really, really good. I would put this on par with some of the base BCS from Goose Island that I've had recently. I think this is just a really solid bourbon barrel aged imperial stout. It's just very, very good, very well made. It is flying right along with the barley wines that we saw, where it's edging right along with some of the better beers we've had. This is solid. This is really good. Really, really good.
It gets me excited. So,
4.25.
as Josh mentioned, we're moving on now to it's the base with vanilla. Now we have the vanilla age one. This one comes in, I think you said this is at
14.4.
14.4. So the highest of the three we have here, right?
Yes, it is.
Highest of the three we have here, 14.4. Good round number for us. I'm excited because especially go back to our barley wine one with the vanilla barley wine. Amazing. So I'm really excited to see what they do with this one.
The vanilla characteristics in the barley wine were exceptional.
Yeah.
If we get the same thing here, I have very high expectations for this beer.
Almost too high.
So, almost too high. So let's get a little nose on this.
No.
Yeah.
It's the same like vanilla bean characteristic from the barley wine. It's but now I think because it's a stout, you get more of that bourbon that's coming through from the barley wine, which adds just a ton of different flavor profiles to this one.
You just get more of a dark chocolate, sweet vanilla characteristic from it, like ice cream. Like think ice cream with this.
Yeah.
Like it's a very ice cream nose.
Yeah.
Like it is really, really solid on the nose from that perspective. The bourbon is there, but I do think it's playing second fiddle to the vanilla chocolatey notes that are coming out of the stout. Yeah, that smells phenomenal.
Else to say.
All right, cheers.
Cheers. Oh my God. Jesus Christ.
That's so good.
As I said in the first one had some really good characteristics and set itself up to have some nice adjuncts add to it. This is that exact adjunct I wanted to see. Yeah. And that vanilla bean comes off so well in this. It's prominent, but it's not overpowering. I know it sounds kind of weird, but like it's there and it's tasty and it's good, but it doesn't take over everything. It doesn't take over where you don't get any of that bourbon or any of that char you kind of got from the first beer. It just adds such a nice, like, pillowy sweetness to it throughout the whole thing. It's so well done.
I think you make a valid point there, like pillowy sweetness.
Such an accurate term.
It is. The front end of this though is barrel and vanilla. Like it's barrel bourbon and vanilla. It's so pretty. Like it's just the taste on this up front is so good. As it hits mid-palate out the back end, you get more of the traditional stout characteristics, a little bit of chocolate, a little bit of dark fruit. The bourbon kind of folds out the back end of it. The vanilla is what lingers. Similar to the barley wine, the vanilla sticks through this all the way through, which it should. It is the primary star adjunct on this beer, and props to Brewing Projekt for putting vanilla in a beer and making it the star.
Yeah,
right?
100%.
And it should be. It should be. In a beer like this, this is so good.
Yeah, and
this is so
and
good.
To your point that you just said there, that's actually such a great point. So many times we see vanilla being added to beers, and the only thing that vanilla does to that beer is just provide like some sweetness to it. It's just there to add some sugary sweetness, and it doesn't actually do anything to like advance the beer. This is where you get a vanilla beer, and it's the star. It's what you want. It's the star flavor, and it's there through the entire ride of the beer. When you get that, the char, the bourbon, the chocolate bitterness, but the vanilla's there the entire time. That's such a great way of putting it. Wow. You're putting this one on tap. Where are you going?
Why are you putting this on me?
Because I knew you'd struggle with it.
This is a 4.75 beer for me, edging on a 5. Like, it is so close. I almost want to give this a 5, but I feel like I'm like waiting for that like blow me off the freaking edge of the ship beer to give it a 5. This is top 3 beers I've had on this channel. I think personally. This is so good. The vanilla characters of this are so fantastic. It's so well done. It is shining in every area that I expect it to. I almost want to give this a 5. I'm going to give it a 4.75, edging on a 5. So, Brewing Projekt, this might be the best rated beer on this channel to this point. Well done for you. This is freaking good. This is so good.
So I'm going to give it a 4.75 too. I'm not, maybe, this is going to sound weird because we're both giving it the same score. Maybe not as high. I actually like the barley wine more than this, the vanilla barley wine.
Really? Okay.
That is not a detractor to this beer. To your point, I said the vanilla barley one's a top 5 beer. This is also a top 5 beer we've ever had in this channel. I mean, it's so well done. It's everything we want in the beers that we have. I just have a slight more preference for barley wines, I think, over some barrel-aged stouts. Just I think when the barley wine's doing well, it's so well done. But this is so good. I really hope for the 8th anniversary they do this beer again.
Me too.
They don't change it. Don't change anything. It's so good.
Too late for that.
Probably.
A couple months. It's probably a couple months from now.
Fair point.
This is going to come out. But
it's so well done. So, this is a 4.75. It's, as you said, one of the best beers you've done on this channel so far. So.
And I do think more breweries need to stick to single adjunct beers like this to really, truly appreciate what's coming out of the beer.
Yeah.
Like, vanilla is one of those adjuncts that if you do it well, you can really produce an excellent beer. This is a great example of how beneficial it can be to do that.
I completely agree. So,
wow.
Let's move on to a multiple adjunct beer.
Let's move on to a multiple adjunct beer. So this is the French toast version of this same base stout. Again, bourbon barrel aged. This comes in at 13.5%. This is aged on vanilla, cinnamon, and maple syrup. So think what this was, add maple syrup, add cinnamon to it.
And we've done a ton of breakfast beers on this channel. And to be honest, it's very hit or miss on them. Some are really good, some just don't hit the mark. So it's always interesting when we do a new one because I never know really what to expect.
I think an all-time favorite is Eagle Park's
Booze for Breakfast.
Booze for
the
Breakfast.
Barrel-aged Booze for Breakfast.
The French toast one.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
The barrel-aged version. Bomb. So,
let's see how this does.
I'm very curious to see what it's
The lead up to this point has been very positive.
How can you be disappointed? Well, we'll find out.
We'll find out. So on the nose.
To the nose. I feel like I'm about to be disappointed.
Yeah, so right off the bat, it's that cinnamon that's coming through. And like for me personally, and I think you'll agree with me, but like when I get these breakfast beers, I want the maple and I want the vanilla or the coffee to come through. I know this one doesn't say coffee, but those are the flavors I want to come through. When we get that cinnamon up front,
it's heavy cinnamon.
It's heavy cinnamon.
Heavy cinnamon on the nose.
And we've said a multitude of times that cinnamon is not our favorite flavor profile on beers. It has to be done well. And again, we're just taking on the nose.
Yeah.
So this is
not
just half of the
yet.
equation, but
not tried this.
So far, it's a little too heavy on the cinnamon for me.
I'm nervous.
Yeah.
But let's find out.
So the vanilla to go back to.
Yeah.
So
cheers.
Ooh.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. It develops.
Yeah. It's. So, up front is the maple, for me at least. I get a heavy maple up front, a little bit of vanilla. The cinnamon kind of kicks in the back end, and then it's more of the maple kind of at that point. But it's the cinnamon still kicks in a lot, but there's a good maple note to this one.
There's a really good maple note. I get front end of this for me is actually maple prominent, cinnamon secondary.
Yeah.
So I get quite a bit of cinnamon actually up front.
Okay.
The vanilla kicks in mid palate for me, and it starts to kind of clean up some of the cinnamon characteristics. Okay. But then out the back is very maple sweet, more cinnamon prominent, the vanilla starts to fade out, and I'm left with kind of this cinnamon, bourbon, sweet maple syrup kind of character out the back. That's not bad, though. It's really good. I would like, personally, the vanilla to be more prominent throughout.
Oh, yeah.
However, this could have been really bad based on the
100%.
nose and the cinnamon characteristics we were getting off the scent. I do think the cinnamon is still prominent here, but I think it does take a bit of a backseat to the maple syrup, which is what I would want.
The maple syrup is the star of this one. I absolutely agree. I don't get the vanilla that you're getting. To me, it's very berried. I'm getting to me it's a lot of maple syrup with some cinnamon in the back end. It's good. It's a little too sweet for me.
It's very sweet.
I mean, this is a very sweet beer, especially based off what we just had. It's got too much sweetness going on. With that said, it's still a really good beer. Of the breakfast beers we've had on this channel, and we've had a lot of misses, this falls into more of the hit category. I wouldn't say it's the best breakfast beer we've had, but it's definitely a hit. It's good. I would definitely drink it again. This is a very shareable beer. I think we definitely need to to be honest, I could probably take down the other two by myself because they're so good.
Yeah.
I'd be in trouble that night, but this I would definitely want to share. This is a little too heavy and everything.
It's very rich.
Yeah.
It's good.
Yeah.
It's very good. Untappd, the French toast version of this, I'm going 4.25 actually, and I still think that's a really good score. I think that's a really good score. I do think this is rivaling up towards some of the beers we've had in the breakfast beer French toast category. It's not quite as good as what Eagle Park has produced from their bourbon barrel aged booze for breakfast. However, I think this is really, really solid. I think they did a good job with this.
It's really good. I'm gonna go 4. I think the cinnamon scale a little bit. It's just a little too heavy. I'm saying a 4, and I'm criticizing because it's too much cinnamon. That's a damn good beer. It's really good. I would definitely drink it again. It's a really good breakfast beer, and it ranks in the topper end of the breakfast beers that we've had. I think I've actually kind of got a little more harsh on breakfast beers because of booze for breakfast.
Yeah, that's fair.
But this is really good. This is a solid 4, easy 4. The maple syrup is fantastic on this one. I just wish a little more vanilla and a little less cinnamon is all I would want.
Yeah.
I mean,
what a lineup. Like, the anniversary beers from Brewing Projekt this year, wow.
5 beers from 4 to 4.75, and 2 we scored 4.75.
Yes,
that's insane. That's I don't think we've ever done that in a series of beers.
No, we haven't.
So,
wow. I mean, Brewing Projekt, well done. This was a great series. We're super pumped for year 8. What are you guys doing? We don't even know. We're actually pretty pumped to find out. Yeah. And thankfully, we have our good friend, Mr. Andy Lau, who lives in Eau Claire, who can acquire all of these for us.
Yes.
So, good luck, sir. We're going to be asking you to do that again. So, really great stuff here from the Brewing Projekt. Happy 7-year anniversary. Happy 8-year anniversary coming up. Have you had these? Have you tried these? Have you tried any of these anniversary beers from them? They're pretty rare. Not super easy to acquire, but man, if you've got them, drink them because they're damn good. So good. Check us out on the rest of our social media channels. We are on Instagram. We are on Facebook. We are on Untappd. We are on Twitter. We are also here on YouTube. So like, comment, and subscribe. Let us know what you think. If we're idiots, just tell us that. Just tell us that in the comments. We would love to hear that. We want to be called idiots, quite frankly. Outside of that, happy to have you on board and check out our next episode, which is coming very soon. Thanks, everybody.
Thanks, everyone.
Bye-bye.